Hi, thank you so much for tuning in to P2P Relates, where we talk about all things relationships. Today, we're going to talk about what a good leader looks like in COVID-19. There are 5 areas that I'm going to cover that would describe an excellent leader. The first one is an excellent leader is a forward thinker. Number 2, a good leader during COVID is an excellent communicator. 3, a good leader ensures at-home workers have what they need to meet the expectations of the organization. Number 4, they anticipate work strategies for the teams that they oversee. Number 5, they check in regularly with their employees or teams to ensure that the teams are having success, getting through things effectively, and finally, that emotionally they are doing well. So let's go back through and talk about these 5 areas in detail. Number 1, as a forward thinker, they anticipate needs, challenges, and people issues, and they do what it takes to get and keep a handle on things. Number 2, they avail themselves to their workers so that workers know that they have their support, especially in these times where the pandemic has workers working many more hours than they normally would, and they may get stuck, they may not know what to do, or they may just be overwhelmed. And when that leader anticipates that and steps in, it makes a big difference. They're aware of the issues, they stay on top of the issues, and they address the issues instead of waiting until the workers bring them those issues. So that's a forward thinker. The second one, they're excellent communicators. They share information as appropriate with their employees, so employees are not wondering what's happening, why did this occur, how to understand certain things, because their manager or their leader keeps them aware of what's next and what's going on and why things are going on. The nature of a leader is to troubleshoot problems and resolve and make the vision come to life. So when that leader can take that skill set and approach their employees, listen to what they have to say, and then help them address those issues and resolve those problems, it goes a long way. They address anticipated concerns and share next steps. Again, we're talking a great ensure that work at home employees have what they need to be productive and meet expectations. They encourage employees to assess what they need, and then they get them those things. Now, every company doesn't have the ability of addressing the issue and acknowledging that the workload or the productivity may suffer a bit because you don't have everything exactly like it was before goes a long way as well. If the workload increases, as it has for, say, healthcare workers, where they're working maybe 20 to 30% more hours for the same pay, the same benefits, because the workload is not stopping. Anticipating that challenge and addressing those issues to help employees manage the stress levels, the expectations, as well as helping them learn how to cut it off, learn how to manage work at home versus work in the office. That's a good leader. Number 4 is considers work strategies for the team. The team used to be in the office where they could huddle. In many cases, they were in cubicles and they would be able to speak freely and each other could hear. And now they're all in their own homes, having to learn how to effectively communicate. This is not a problem if you've got a good team, a team of people who really respect and admire each other, a group of people who really are productive and completely competent and able to accomplish their tasks, and they like each other. We're talking about relationships on this channel and how you feel about your teammate, how you feel about the people you have to get work produced through means a lot, and it really does matter. So as a good leader, you're making sure that you understand the health of the team and you're helping facilitate any changes, shifts, or adjustments that need to be made in order for that team to have success. checking in with the team to see how they have determined their work ethic and what their work flow is will be important. If they're struggling with that, to help them through that would be important. If they're victorious in that, to share some of their work practices with other teams that may be struggling would be useful. That would include talking about email turnarounds, meeting frequencies, rules for the actual meetings. Now, every team and in their personality would probably do well to manage that themselves. So I'm not suggesting a leader would get down at that level and work through that for the team. But I am saying that the leader should know what the team's norms and practices are and how they're doing, what the health of that team is, and be prepared to make recommendations or suggestions and facilitate a better transition in case the team is struggling. And number 5, they check in regularly with their employees to see how things are going, to make sure that they're having success, and to see what their emotional state is. I'm not suggesting you be a counselor or a psychiatrist or psychologist to your employees at all. But I am suggesting that you be empathetic enough to understand what some of the challenges are that they are having to face and address as a result of living at home and working at home. For those people in the pandemic who have been self-employed for already prior to the pandemic and they're used to managing workloads along with personal life, this is not a big challenge. But for those who have traditionally worked in an office environment and now have to be at home, they may have challenges. I would say you've got 2 types of people. I don't want to go too far into it, but you've got, let's just keep it with the introvert and the extrovert. The extrovert, I would say, would most likely, more so than the introverts, really struggle with being at home day in and day out, Monday through Friday working. There are some people in that category who cannot wait until the stay at home is completely released and people are back to work. On the other hand, you've got introverts who are just fine in their environments alone. In fact, they probably have gotten more done since this pandemic than they've gotten done in years on that job. However, we all are human beings and we need a social connection, and sometimes that social connection needs to be balanced out. So being socially connected with a healthy employee relationship would be important, as well as having good social boundaries and good social practices in your personal life. But everybody's not necessarily managing that well because we're managing so many new challenges as a result of this pandemic. And a good leader makes sure that they are in touch with how their people are doing. In summary, I would like to say that a leader looks good in COVID-19 with these qualities. And I'm not going to repeat the 5 that I gave you, but I'm just going to summarize it like this. They are forward thinking. They are present. People know that they can count on them to be contactable. They know that they're going to show up. They know that they're going to check in and see how the team's doing. They're engaged. If they see the team is overwhelmed and they have the skill set to kick in, they're not going to sabotage it. They're not going to put more expectations on. They're not going to ignore the stress levels of their employees, but instead they're going to be facilitators of having a successful progression of productivity. The next one is they're going to be empathetic. And empathy says, hey, how are you doing through all this? The workload is heavy. I noticed that. You're getting a lot done. Good job. But how are you handling all of this? And is at home a great thing for you? Or are you anticipating coming back to the office? Are you anxious? Or would you like to do this forever? I don't know. There are certain questions that you may or may not want to ask because your company is not poised for being open to certain people maintaining the at-home work phase. However, just knowing, being able, if your leader asked you to tell them how your people are doing, being able to say, oh, I know we've got this percentage of people who really enjoy it. These people are really struggling. These are the things they're struggling with. That's empathy. When the day comes that the organization is ready for employees to come back, to really know how to support them in the coming back. The coming back looks like this. This is what our companies put in place. These are the safety measures that we have. This is the social distancing that we've reorganized. These are things that you will be able to do like before. These are things that you'll have to stop. We have the elevator issue. These are the guidelines for the elevator. We understand that it's going to cut back on productivity because people won't be able to get to their floors. We will encourage health and fitness, so you will have the option to take stairs, but we do recognize that sometimes you won't feel like taking stairs. Just anticipating all those things. What's the lunchroom going to be like? Or is the lunchroom off limits now because social distancing would be challenged? All those things say to the employee, you matter. And you want to be the type of leader that says to your employees, what you need matters. Now, we have a business to run. You have profits to make. I recognize that employers and leaders and business owners have a business to run. You have money to make. You've suffered in many cases because business is down because everybody's been at home. And so it's very important to recognize that while those are considerations you have to manage if you want to stay in business and keep profits where they need to be to even handle the employees that you have, you need happy employees. Happy employees make happy customers, make a business profit happy. So when your employees know that they matter, when your employees know that they're appreciated, that their hard work is recognized, that there's empathy for the working mom who now has a child at home, be it an infant or even a grade school child or a school-age child, and schools aren't open yet, and everybody's services are not available to accommodate a parent returning back to work. A good leader is going to recognize that and have strategies in place to accommodate that. Because think about it, everybody's not going to be able to come back to work. You're going to have senior workers that may not be able to come back, as well as people who have compromised health conditions, as well as people who are just not convinced that it's going to be safe and they don't want to go into work and then come back home with COVID to give to their family because they didn't know someone had it. There's just so many issues, and we're going through such a challenging time. And so these are new territories and new waters, and we're not asking of leaders to be perfect. There is no such thing as a perfect leader. But when you start understanding that your people are your greatest commodity, just think about it. Let's just say you made all your employees angry and they said, you know what? I'll just struggle. I don't care. I'm out of here. I can't do this. And they quit. Where would you be? How would your company make it? So as you go forward trying to manage this COVID period as best as possible, I just want to encourage you to keep in mind that you need your people, and your people need to know that they matter to you. And the better job you do with that, the more success your company's going to have, and the more stability you're going to have, and the more diligence you're going to get from your people. So I hope this was helpful. Hit the like button if you got something from it. Subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting other things about relationships, because when we're healthy as people and when we know how to manage our relationships, be it personal or business, we fare better. All right, you have a great next 7 days and hope to see you back next week. Bye.